I'd like to call to order the July 28th, 2015 meeting of the Millcreek Township Supervisors. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications? Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. We have before us the July 14th, 2015 meeting minutes. If there's no additions or corrections to the minutes, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
And I will second.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have approval of the bills. We have before us the bills of 721 and 728, along with the sewer revenue bills of July 20th. If there's no additions or corrections to the bills, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm sorry. I so move to pay those bills.
I'll second it.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have a replot of Lot 2 of the Reserve at Creek's Edge subdivision. A replot to update the recorded wetlands location on Lot 2 of the Reserve at Creek's Edge subdivision based on a current delineation located along the south line of Edgewater Circle, north of Arbuckle Road in Tract 341. Mr. Morris?
Planning Commission recommended approval at their July 7th meeting.
Is there any questions from the board? Discussion? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve that subdivision replot.
I'll second it.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have announcement of bids and quotations received. The first is for guide rail installation from the Streets Department. Mr. McGrath?
This is for 75 feet of guardrail. This would be at Gary's Road, just north of the bridge over Walnut Creek. Quotations were solicited from Shingledecker Welding, $1,760. Quote was solicited from Green Acres Contracting, but we received no response. So it's Gary Walters' recommendation, and I'll move that Shingledecker Welding be awarded that contract.
I'll second that.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And
Next, we have tree and stump removal at Commodore Drive and Voyager Drive.
this
Mr.
is,
McGrath?
again, quotes were solicited from Dibble Tree Service, $300, J. Thomas Tree Service, $225, and Hazlitt Tree Service, no quote was, or no response. And it's Gary's, again, recommendation that the contract go to J. Thomas, and I'll move approval of that.
I'll second that.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have Resolution 2015-R-16, a resolution authorizing, empowering, and directing the Millcreek Township Board of Supervisors to appoint one or more liaison persons between it and Berkheimer, the duly appointed collector of earned income tax and local services tax for the township, for the express purpose of sharing confidential information with the township for official purposes. This resolution is required by Berkheimer. On occasions, we find out that we have a need for certain information from Berkheimer's, which might be confidential in nature. In order for them to release that confidential information to the township for official reasons or official purposes, we have to appoint a liaison between Berkheimer and the board. Traditionally, we've appointed the township treasurer, Jerry Wolf, who is retiring July 31st. So this time we're going to have somebody new on board. And the resolution is asking that Mark Zaseski be the individual who will act as the liaison between the board and Berkheimer's. Is there any other discussion or questions?
No.
Evan, anything more on that? No. Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2015-R-16.
I'll second it.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Communications, Mark?
None.
Brian?
Well, I can move down to the new hire that's on the agenda. We have an opening in the sewer department and a memo from Diane Lyons in HR in regard to the hiring of Mark Freitas. He comes to us with 7 years' experience with Shivers Construction and is experienced with sewer pipe installation and repair. He has his Class A CDL with tanker endorsement. He would be starting on August 3rd at a rate of $17.47 per hour. The hiring is conditional upon his successful completion of a pre-employment physical and drug screen and motor vehicle record. And I'll move approval of the hiring of Mark Freitas.
And I'll second that.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And from Gary Walters in the Streets Department, he would like permission to send Pam Fitzpatrick to a class, How to Communicate with Tact and Professionalism. This is going to be held August 25th and 26th at the Wingate by Wyndham on Oliver Road. The cost is $299, and I would move approval of that.
And I will second that.
Public comment? Mr. McGrath?
Yes,
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
that's all I have.
I have a couple things from the PD. Permission for Captain Carter Mook of the Millcreek Township Police to attend the FBI's annual Great Lakes Leadership Seminar in Niagara Falls, New York, from October 4th through October 9th. This seminar is intended for law enforcement executives and will focus on topics such as ethics, leadership, media, legal issues, and other subjects as they relate to executives and their interaction with the rank and file officers. Costs including registration, lodging, meals, and travel time with a township vehicle is approximately $1,200, and I would make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Public comment? Mr. Groh?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next is for the permission for the Millcreek Township Police to participate in the National Drug Take-Back Initiative scheduled for September 12, 2015 from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. This would take place in the Township Conference Room and require one police officer to be paid at the overtime rate for a period of approximately 5 hours. No other costs would be associated with this event. And I would make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Public comment? Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Groh?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, this is more or less a public service announcement. It's for Millcreek Township participating in the National Night Out on Friday, July 21st, 2015. And I'll read the media release. On Tuesday, August 4th, neighborhoods throughout Millcreek Township are invited to join forces with thousands of communities nationwide for the 26th Annual National Night Out Crime and Drug Prevention Event. National Night Out, which is sponsored by the National Association of Town Watch and co-sponsored locally by the Bell Valley Fire Department and the Millcreek Township Office of Emergency Management, will involve over 15,000 communities from all states. This year is the 32nd anniversary of the National Night Out, with over 38 million people across the country expected to participate. National Night Out is designed to heighten crime and drug awareness, generate support for and participation in local anti-crime efforts, strengthen neighborhood spirit and police community partnerships, and send a message to criminals letting them know neighborhoods are organized and fighting back. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on August 4th, residents in neighborhoods throughout Millcreek Township and across the nation are asked to lock their doors, turn on outside lights, and spend an evening outside with the neighbors and their emergency services. Bell Valley Fire Department will be hosting our Community National Night Out event at their station on Norcross Road from 6 to 9 p.m. Included in the celebration will be apparatus from Millcreek Fire Departments, Millcreek Police, Millcreek Emergency Management, and the Bureau of Fire Prevention, as well as a dunk tank, bouncy house, food demonstrations, and more. And I would make a motion that we participate in the National Night Out.
I'll second that.
Public comment? Mr. Groh?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And that's all I have. John?
Okay, quickly, I got two things. I'm going to jump down to the construction report for June. That's item number 10 on the agenda. We do have copies of that available in the zoning department. They'll be available online here. I believe later this week they'll be posted. But during the month of June, we had a total of residential construction, total construction value of $4,025,000. And in the non-residential or commercial end, $1.720 million for a total of $5.745 million of construction value in the month of June. The other matter here is regarding the sidewalk survey. As you know, that we're under a court order with in regards to Voices for Independence. This is an agreement we came to with the courts to do a study of our sidewalks to see which ones are ADA compliant and which ones aren't. We hired a company to do that. So far, they have done a survey of 40 miles of sidewalks throughout the township. And I can say that all of the Bell Valley area is complete at this time. They're estimating another 3 weeks before it's all done. Just as a reminder, they're using two different modes of gathering this data. One is with the use of a Segway with electronic equipment on it. So if you happen to see one out in front of your house, don't be alarmed. We made that announcement 2 weeks ago. They've now added on a little ATV. It's a camouflage color. It has a lot of equipment on it. It looks like something you might use for deer hunting or something like that, but it's being used on the sidewalks. It has all of the electronic equipment on that for taking the survey. Anyway, so that'll be out there. It's estimated, weather permitting, hopefully within the next 3 weeks they'll have this study wrapped up. So that's all. I just want to let the public know about that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Evan?
I don't have anything.
Gail? Rick?
I have one item. It concerns our contract with Hill Engineering to review and inspect stormwater management plans and facilities. I recommend approval of a 3-year contract extension that would run from August 1st of 2015 to the end of July 31st of 2018. The rate schedules are not to exceed 3% per year. This is a contract that we've had with Hill for a long time. They've done a good job for us, and I recommend the extension.
Any discussion from the board?
I'll move approval.
I'll second that motion.
Public comment? Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Grow?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, citizens to be heard. If you'd give us your name and address, sir, for the record, and please sign in at the podium.
Name's Tim Cockle on 4623, 21, excuse me, McCreary Road. I have a bunch of things I want to cover, so I'm going to go pretty fast here. I think most everybody knows that the Joy Senior Center is alive and well, particularly in the 4th of July parade when people yelled at our float, "Let's hear it for the old people." You know, I thought that was nice. But my problem with going to the Joy Center is I go to the activities and the meetings and everything, and I never get to really thank the people who have put their heart and soul into making the Joy Centers exist and survive. So I'd like to take this opportunity first to thank Dee and Judy and Dodie and Polly. Polly's always cleaning something. I don't know what she's doing. She's cleaning it all the time. And then all the other members that are willing to do whatever effort they can to make the Joy Center a success. John, you mentioned a month or so ago to Dee that you might be interested in joining the Joy Center. My assistant right now, if she can approach the bench, is handing out the activity sheets for July. You'll see they're pretty complete. There's a lot of activities we have, and there's, I think, something on there for everyone. So The one item that's not on there is July 14th, the Erie County Council had their monthly meeting at the Joyce Center, and I don't think we did a good job of saying how honored we were to have the Erie County Council there. It was nice. Okay. As far as finances, I'm sure you realize once you stopped supporting the Joyce Center, we really had to rely only on membership dues and small finance programs that we do to try to supplement our treasury. Right now, that's why there's an appeal out right now to a lot of businesses and organizations in the area to try to support us. So I'll say if you can find yourself fit to support us financially, we would certainly appreciate it. As hopefully everybody knows, we meet at the Stall Center. It's across from Vista 2 down on the going out of Presque Isle State Park. It's a nice facility, and we're there 5 days a week from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Anyway, because of the financial thing, I was interested to see the health screening that you have in place. I think it's part of a bigger program you have with LifeWorks. If I remember, we announced it last fall, you'd given $20,000 to LifeWorks to do a wellness campaign for Millcreek Township. The health screening meets the second Monday of the month from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, which I calculate is 1 hour a month or 12 hours a year. And I was late showing up at 10 o'clock the 13th, and I was surprised to see there were 3 people there ahead of me. I was surprised because the only thing you get free at the health screening is your blood pressure test, which you can do at home. Everything else is additional cost. But the real problem was LifeWorks forgot to show up. And Judy Zelina was there. She was apologizing, and she said that she apparently had been in contact with them, and she said they'd be there in about 15 or 20 minutes, so we could stay around or we could come back next month. I opted not to do either one. But I guess I'm asking you to look at this program with LifeWorks. If it seems to be a mistake financially, which at this point I think it does look that way, maybe you want to enact your clause that allows you to cancel a contract at any time. And if you do decide to cancel a contract with LifeWorks, maybe you can have some extra money in hand. Maybe you want to give some of it to a senior program in Millcreek that is working, which is, of course, the Joyce Senior Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Hearing none, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll second it.
We're adjourned at 7:20.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.